Welcome to another edition of Between the Lines. I'm Tyler Trumbauer. Glenn Mann will be along shortly. We have plenty BTL to get to, including halftime, where one of our hosts has a nice slow-mo of getting hit in the head. You don't want to miss that. Weekend update, where Glenn Mann will join me to talk about the KU Golden Bears. And then I'll be going inside the locker room with members of the women's lacrosse team. Stay tuned, BTL, straight ahead. Welcome back to BTL. Welcome inside the locker room. I'm Tyler Trumbauer, joined by members of the KU women's lacrosse team. To my immediate right, we have Haley Romoser, and to the far side, head coach Scattergood here. Ladies, appreciate the time today. And obviously starting off, looking back a little bit on the season so far, 6-6 overall, 2-5 ledger in the conference. Coach, what are your thoughts so far, 12 games into this season?
I think we're progressing like we should. We've definitely had some tough losses. I think some games we could have turned into wins that were losses. However, we're coming off a great weekend. Team played really solid in both of our games. So big conference rival today with Millersville, and we're looking forward to being successful on the field.
Haley, how are the players reacting to so far, how you guys have done this season?
I think we're using it as motivation to keep pushing. Obviously, we want to see more wins come through our way, so we're using it as motivation to keep pushing, keep playing our best, keep getting some wins.
Certainly, and Coach, so as you mentioned, a nice trip last week, a busy week as well for the team, and we were talking off air about how you had to go out west and get some elements out there and some tougher teams, but you were able to pull out that victory against Edinboro in nice dramatic fashion there. How nice was that to pick up the W against the Fighting Scots?
Very good. And again, really, even with the loss to Slippery Rock on Friday, the team played really well. It was a great competitive game from start to finish. So we really try to focus on our play in each game, even when the result might not come our way. But then for us to carry that play right into back-to-back games and again, pull that through in late fashion. The one thing I can say about that team is all season long they show fight. They fight to the end in every game. There's no quitting these girls, and that's what came through for us on Saturday.
From a player standpoint, do you enjoy that road trip where it's one school, hotel, another school, another game, and then long bus rides, or would you rather have a little bit more spread out schedule?
I'd probably rather have a more spread out schedule. The long bus ride, is always like a drainer, but you just got to get past it. But rather have spread out than going out west there.
Certainly, and Michaela Bowman with the game winner in that win against Edinboro. Sarah Gabriel with 3 goals in that game, and she's really been piloting the offense this year. Coach, what are your thoughts on her production leading this offense overall?
It's no surprise. Again, she was kind of the focal point of the offense last year. It's great on our attack. We have a lot of girls who can do a lot of different things, but Sarah's definitely the facilitator of that. She plays pretty hard. It's very hard for the other defense to stop her 1v1. They have to kind of send help to her, and that opens up everybody else down there too. So it's good to have a dynamic player like that on our attack that the other team needs to focus on, and it can kind of open things up for us everywhere.
Certainly, so you feel you're at an advantage when you have maybe arguably one of the best offensive players in the conference on your side of things?
Absolutely, yes, it's a huge advantage.
Haley, for you, how do you feel you've done individually this year and helping this team get to where they are thus far and as you've been saying, progressing to where you want to be?
Well, definitely as a senior captain, I'm a leader back there. Try to, help the younger girls, whatever they need, whatever, talking, get things together. I was off the field for a little while the first half of the season with an injury, so that was pretty hard, but just staying on the bench, staying positive, giving everyone advice whenever I can, just trying to help things run smoothly and on and off the field.
Certainly. Coach, and she alluded her earlier season injury and just talked about a busy week. How tough is it now in the thick of things to keep a team healthy like this when you're getting fatigued from long bus rides and back-to-back game days and as you mentioned, a game already upcoming, today. So how is the team's health thus far?
Pretty good. I mean, it is what it is. It's lacrosse is a tough physical sport, and you're playing 2 to 3 games a week, but everybody you're playing is doing the same thing. So it's not like you're at an advantage or disadvantage with that stuff. We do start to get a little banged up, but hey, knock on wood right now. We've got some people back from some injuries, and we're hopefully hitting the healthy part going in. We did have some injuries early on in this year, but again, hopefully we're getting everybody back now, and that's going to lead to a good, solid conclusion of the season.
And the interesting thing for your team is that you play on different surfaces for different games. I mean, just for home games themselves, whether you're at the stadium or on your usual field, is that kind of a tough trickery to deal with? Because obviously there's a lot of schools that you're playing on turf at a stadium like you would when you're at Andre Reed Stadium, where sometimes you're on the grass. Does that affect you more or as much as, like, say, a women's soccer team? I know that's a big thing for them.
You let it affect you if you let it affect you. We keep our mental focus on what we're doing that day, where, what we need to do to be successful wherever we're playing. I think if a team lets things like that creep in and be distractions to them, then they're absolutely going to be distractions. But we try to stay focused on our game. Where we play doesn't make a difference to us. We're going to show up and play our best game. You tell us when, where we're lining up, and we'll be there ready to play.
Haley, and we mentioned that win against Edinboro, snapping a little bit of a losing streak for the team. What was that streak like for the ladies? Was there any discouragement, or was everyone keeping a positive outlook? And as Coach mentioned, despite some losses, hard-fought physical games as well were almost pulled out a victory.
Definitely after the game, there's a little discouragement. You're upset, you just lost the game. But the next day, it's always, hey, we're on to the next one. You can't think, you think about your play, but you got to think about the next game and moving on. I definitely think that win against Edinboro really snapped us out of it and, showed us that, got that little taste of winning again. So it's we want to keep tasting that.
Certainly, and you want to keep tasting that moving forward. You mentioned you have Millersville, other schools upcoming. Coach, what's the immediate outlook for this team? What needs to happen to resurrect and get a winning record in the PSAC and then obviously get above 500 overall?
Well, I think, for me, I can reflect on those things. We try not to really talk about that stuff with the team because, again, we just need them to focus on the practice they have that day, the next game they have coming up, and not get too far ahead of ourselves. I think what I look at in the long run is, again, progress season to season. And we were at 7 wins last year, 3 in the conference. My ultimate goal this year is to end better than that on both notes. And I think if we can do that, we're going to look back and, again, look at some games we could have won that we let slip by, but at the same time, you've got to see the progress as a whole.
For you as a senior and a leader and this campaign and knowing that the career is coming to an end soon, and I can see it's already starting to churn in your mind already, and you don't want that to happen yet, but what would you like to see over these next few games, and not just for yourself and for the senior class, but for the future of the program as well?
I definitely think, obviously, want to win, end on a winning note. As Coach said before, see our record better than it was last year. And I definitely want to see, other people being more, dynamic on the field. I want to see everyone growing as a player and everyone stepping into their role and just becoming, the player and leader and, person they know, I know they can be on the field.
Coach, and for you, and interesting, as you mentioned, you beat Edinboro, who's that program's still somewhat in their infancy, and a lot of schools, lacrosse isn't, as a mainstay at a lot of schools as it is at others, especially in the conference as well. How does that factor in, knowing that you're looking at more storied programs, and other times you're facing programs that they got newer coaches, or they just could have started their program within the last 5 years?
When you look at the newer programs, you never take anybody lightly. You got to respect your opponent on any given day that they're working as hard as you and they can go out and win that game. As far as playing some of the high powerhouse programs in the conference, I think that's the great thing about being in the PSAC is you get to compete against the best in the country in this conference. And that should be a very big honor competitively. We played some teams earlier in the year and the scores were pretty inflated and stuff. I don't want to go through a season of that.
Right.
You want to line up again against the best in the country, the top 10 teams in the country, and see what you can do. And I think that's a good competitive challenge. And again, we try to get the girls to really buy into that as a team, that, hey, you want to be here and compete against the best, and that's what it's about.
Right, Haley, for you, moving on to the rest of this regular season, more of an individual outlook. What is there anything you're going to try to push and press to do, considering you missed some early parts of the season, and try to finish strong? Is there a goal or something you want to do in these last few weeks of the season before your present active time as a Golden Bear is no longer?
I would just say keeping successful, working together, coming up with good play together. Other than that, I can't really ask for much else. So great girls on our team. So.
Great girls on the team in the senior class as well as the underclassmen, and that's because Coach Scattergood, one of the best recruiters in the conference, right, Coach?
Absolutely.
Being able to get the good team together. And as you mentioned, a lot of good games upcoming. Millersville, 4 p.m. on Wednesday. So best of luck in that. And then moving forward, ESU and IUP upcoming. Appreciate the time today, ladies, and best
Thanks
of
for
luck
having us.
Thank
the
you.
rest of the regular season. That's Inside the Locker Room with the Kutztown women's lacrosse team. Stay tuned. More BTL after this.
This week on Halftime, our hosts Blaze and Tyler head out to the stadium to try their hands at lacrosse. Their opponent is Abby Cox, the 2017 team captain of Kutztown's women's lacrosse team. Will Blaze and Tyler finally beat the odds and score a victory? No, they won't. I'm tired of keeping you guys in this cruel suspense, but we've been doing it for this long, so let's just watch anyway and see what happens.
Welcome, everyone, to a new episode of Halftime. I'm your host, Blaze Vasile, alongside with
Tyler Gondos.
You can tell by last week, we tried to fence, and I don't know, man, I didn't think it went too well.
No, I did get a victory, though.
You did get a victory. You did beat me. He does have the victory now. So, we're at Andre Reed Stadium, and you can tell by our sticks, we're going to try lacrosse this week. So, I think we should get to it and not be failures anymore.
Let's go, bud.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. So today we have Abby with us from the women's lacrosse team. She's a starting goalie, and as you can tell, we dressed Tyler up today as a goalie. So we're gonna abuse him a little bit. Hopefully you don't get hurt like you usually do every week.
I don't want no bruises, guys. Be easy. Gentle, gentle.
You're definitely not leaving without a bruise. So Abby, what can you teach us so we don't get embarrassed this week?
So today I'm going to teach Tyler how to make saves and hopefully teach you how to shoot around him, maybe possibly hit him and get some bruises.
Hopefully.
No
Yes.
bruises.
That's a bold statement
We're going to get some bruises.
because
We usually fail.
we do fail. But like I say every week, this is our week. Sorry, Abby, but this is our time to win. We need to get a winning record on an athlete and not just ourselves.
Nope.
So,
Ready?
I'm ready.
go.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get to it. So I don't know if anyone at home watching this right now has ever felt a lacrosse ball, but this thing has some weight to it, and it definitely would do some damage.
Definitely.
So I think this week the important thing is that you retain all this knowledge
Yeah.
that she's gonna give you,
So I don't die.
and you use it on the field, so you don't get jacked up by this little yellow ball. I think you're ready. Let's get to it.
God.
All right, so I'm going to teach you how to make a high save.
All right,
All
good.
right,
You go
so
first.
stand in ready position
Okay.
like this.
Yeah. All right.
All right, and so if the shot's coming here,
Yeah.
you want to step, get your body behind it,
Save it.
Ah, look at
and
that.
make a save. Just like that.
Woo!
So you got the high save. Now we're going to make a low save.
Okay.
All right, same ready position.
Okay, hold on.
All right, so it's coming low. You want to step and get your hands down.
All right, hands down. Like, do I pull my... Okay.
Just
All
like
right,
that.
just
Point
like
it, stick out a little bit.
Like that?
This out.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Then you maintain possession of the ball.
All right. So I just go, okay. All right, here, give me one. Give me one.
I got you.
Hold.
You made the save.
I stopped that, right?
Got
Yes.
this.
I kind of turned, but let's go.
Let's do it. Now I think you're teaching how to shoot.
So you want to start holding the stick
Yes.
about a quarter down from the top there, just about where you have it.
Cool.
And you want to hold it just at the bottom, just like that. All right. So when you shoot, it's kind of like you're throwing a baseball.
Right.
So you want to step with the opposite foot. You're right-handed.
Yeah.
All right. You want to pull the stick back. You don't want your elbows. You want your elbows off your body, so you get
Okay,
enough
so up.
range of motion. Yep. You want to tilt the front hand out. And you want to point the butt of the stick to where you want to shoot. So if you want to shoot up high, you want to point it up high. If you want to shoot down low, you want to pull it down.
Right.
All right, and then you want to follow through across your body. And you want to put your left hand in your back pocket.
Okay.
Just like that.
All right. Wow.
And a miss.
Feeling good about this one.
And
got
you
it.
made it.
We're gonna do this. So you know what, Tyler? I think we have the skills.
I think we're ready
I
to
think
go.
we're ready.
Yeah, we're ready for a game.
So I don't know. Do you guys up for a little game?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
So how about we do shootout? We'll shoot on Tyler, me versus you. We'll each get five tries or 5 shots,
All right.
and whoever scores the most goals wins.
All right.
I'm gonna win this. Neither of you are gonna score.
I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna win this.
Tyler, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, ladies first. So we'll shoot
right.
first, then we'll just go shot for shot.
All right.
So
You
let's
ready?
do it.
Yeah, I'm
I want to see this. I want to get personally close. You are something special, my friend. Tyler, I'm coming with the full speed.
Chill.
Holy oh my god. Yo, that is not cool at all, yo. Ow. Well, you know what? I think that was a tie.
I think so.
We didn't have the best goalie in the world, but still. I don't have an official losing record. We're gonna say? What is it? Tie? It was a tie.
Tie.
I got a tie. You know what? I got a tie. You know
got
what?
a point.
I'm proud of myself.
got a point.
That is 1. So right now, what? We're 1-1.
Yeah. 1-0-1.
Yeah, I think we're just a lot of losses and not that many wins.
Not at all.
No wins. To be
And
exact,
that
actually.
tie you just had.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? I'll take it though. But I want to thank you for coming out, showing us some skills, and abusing Tyler here with me.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun abusing Tyler.
I have a headache.
I want to say good luck for you and all your girls the rest of the season.
Thank
I know
you.
you guys are going to do great with such a great goalie. Everyone home, thank you for watching another episode of Halftime, and please enjoy the rest of Between the Lines. Have a good one.
Welcome back to Between the Lines. Now it's time to look back at what transpired in the last few days for our KU Golden Bears in Weekend Update. That's Glenn Mann. I'm Tyler Trumbauer. We'll start things off with the softball team, who was on a tear as of late, compiled a 23-8 overall record with an unblemished 6-0 mark in the PSAC. The team is on quite a streak. Count them, Glenn, 13 straight victories, picking up 2 more yesterday, dating all the way back to spring break. That was a long time ago, Glenn.
Absolutely, and then most recently, the Golden Bears have defeated East Stroudsburg, Millersville, and the University of Sciences. University of Sciences was yesterday, where they picked up 2 victories, 6-0 and 7-4, and then against East Stroudsburg, it was 4-2 and 5-4. But the 5-4 victory, courtesy of Asia Sato in the 10th inning on a sacrifice hit. Good stuff there, and then finally against Millersville, picking up victories 8-4, 11-2. So you can see that there's a lot of offense being put out by these Golden Bears, but also their pitching staff is keeping up pretty well. So it's good to see there. But if you're talking offense, you got to talk Abby Torella, who won her first ever PSAC Athlete of the Week. She hit a whopping .533 during these stretch of games. So this team's looking pretty solid all around.
Yeah, congratulations to the junior, and everything's starting to click for them. And as you mentioned, an extra inning victory against those Warriors of ESU to keep that streak alive a few days ago, and that was good to see. Up next for the Golden Bears, they host Westchester on Friday for a doubleheader, 2:30, 4:30, followed by a doubleheader against Ship on Saturday at 1 and 3. All of those games at home, North Campus Field.
Should be exciting. Be there.
Check out the KU Golden Bears. Moving on to the women's lacrosse team, 6-6 overall, 2-5 in the PSAC. The team had a trio of games last week, defeated Edinboro 8-7, but fell to Philadelphia University 13-7, and Slippery Rock 5-3. And that victory over Borough was in dramatic fashion.
Absolutely. Pretty exciting stuff where the Golden Bears were down 4-2 at the half, but they kept clawing away, trading goals with Edinboro, clawing and clawing and clawing until in the span of about a minute and 37 seconds that Emily Lieb scored a goal to tie the game up 7-7, and then Michaela Bowman notches the game winner with 66 seconds remaining in the contest. Really exciting stuff. Good for them to pull it out, to snap to snap their 4-game losing streak. But I think one thing you have to mention is that Sarah Gabriel also led the offense to get them in this position with another 3 goals. It's been her consistency all this year that's been putting them in position to win games. So looking good ahead for them. And as you can see, they have Millersville up close, right? You want to tell them a little about that?
Certainly, yeah. Also want to credit Lauren Huggins with the assist. Without that, who knows if Bowman's going to be able to get that goal in. And that victory snapped the 4-game losing streak. Hopefully turns the lacrosse season around here, and hopefully they can continue that into more wins. And they have 3 straight home matches upcoming, as you mentioned. Millersville upcoming Wednesday at 4 p.m. East Stroudsburg on April 18th at 4 p.m. And then IUP on April 22nd for Senior Day at 1 p.m. to wrap up the regular season home slate for the Golden Bears. So a lot of home action. Go out and support the women's lacrosse team. Moving on to the baseball team, 12-17 overall, 3-9 in the PSAC for the guys, and a busy but tough stretch in the last 7 days for them. 1-5 last week, Glenn.
Absolutely. So they went up against St. Thomas Aquinas. I love saying that name. And they dropped the game 5-0, and then moved on to East Stroudsburg to play them in 2 doubleheaders, and they lost 3 of 4 out of that. And it's tough because a lot of these games have been decided by close margins, and the problem earlier on in the season was that pitching was not holding up its end of the bargain while they're scoring double-digit runs. And now pitching's holding up its end of the bargain, and then there hasn't been many runs produced. So the team has to come together with some harmony here. They got to strike a deal to be able to work as a unit as opposed to just one side of the ball showing up while the other isn't. But I think one highlight you have to mention is that Joe Santispago notched an RBI down the right field line with the double to score Beau Rotet for them to beat Millersville, which was East Stroudsburg, in a very tightly contested game. So good to see there, but a lot of work to be done.
The 3-2 win against the Warriors off the bat of Santispago was walk-off fashion for the Golden Bears. Yeah. So exciting finish despite the unfortunate week overall for the Golden Bears. Upcoming for the baseball team, they face Westchester this week in another PSAC home-and-home series this Friday and Saturday. The team hosts the Golden Rams on Friday, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. for their home part of that series. That's at North Campus Field. And then the team hits the road on April 17th for a doubleheader against Lemoyne in Syracuse, New York. Upcoming on April 17th. Go out and support the baseball team this upcoming weekend. Now they hit the courts with the women's tennis team, 2-10 overall, 0-4 in the PSAC. The women's team lost a pair of matches by the same score last week, 7-2. They fell to Shepherd and Bloomsburg, but one Golden Bear unfazed in those 2 matches.
Absolutely. You have to talk about Taylor Capaferri. She was one of 2 Golden Bears to pick up victories, winning her singles and doubles match and pairing with Alyssa Konis in that doubles match. The team is now on a 5-game losing streak, so a tough stretch for them. But you have to imagine they'll be able to turn it around this weekend when they go against East Stroudsburg.
They face ESU on Saturday at Stroudsburg High School. I kind of like that, going back to some varsity roots there, and then return home on April 17th to host Philadelphia U for Senior Day at 2 p.m. on Keystone Courts to finish up the regular season for the women's team. So go support them and the outgoing members of that club on Senior Day. Moving on to their male counterparts with the men's tennis team. Also 2-10 overall, but 2-3 in the PSAC are the guys. The team lost 3 straight matches at home last week. Fell to Mercyhurst 7-2, Edinboro 9-0, and Bloomsburg 5-4. But that's a tough slate. Both Mercyhurst and Edinboro nationally ranked teams.
Absolutely, and Mercyhurst marked the first loss for them in conference play, and unfortunately they just weren't able to get back on their feet after that loss and lost the other 2, moving their record to 2-3 in the conference, like you said. But the team will host West Liberty on Saturday at 11 a.m., so looking forward to them to try and turn it around, pick up their 3rd overall victory on the season.
Absolutely, and the Mercyhurst loss was their first PSAC loss of the year, so they had a good start to that conference ledger. Now fallen back a bit, and as you mentioned, West Liberty, they're going to go out of the conference to face them Saturday at 11 a.m. and then host Philadelphia University on April 17th at 2 p.m. for the home finale. Both matches are at Keystone Courts. Go out and support the guys. Moving on to the women's golf team, who is in a busy stretch themselves, as the team finished 7th out of 12 teams at the Dr. Edwin B. Cottrell Invitational, hosted by PSAC foe Westchester this past Sunday and Monday, and it was a pair of familiar faces on the women's golf team that were rising to the top of the leaderboard.
Of course. For a little background, this invitational features over 100 golfers. So to put it in perspective, Madison Beer and Katie Lepper, two of the top performing golfers for the team, they both finished in the top 20. Beer finished in a tie for 16th, while Leppert finished in a tie for 19th. And then not too far behind the top two performers was Rachel Tarnopol with a 34th place finish. I would say overall pretty good showing for the women's golf team. They're a pretty consistent top performer for us, so looking forward to see the rest of them.
Absolutely, and Beer in her senior campaign, so she's looking to finish strong and is moving up with the right scores in the right direction. Up next for them, they're set to compete in the Alvernia Invitational this Thursday, hosted by nearby Alvernia University. Best of luck to them. And one last scheduling note, the outdoor track and field program off this past week, but they will get right back into action and they will split up. Some members of the men's and women's teams will stay home and compete in the Monish and Multi on April 13th and 14th, while other members will compete in the Bison Outdoor Classic on April 14th and 15th, hosted by Bucknell University in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Will you be at the Monish and Multi?
I think I'm going to go to the Bison Outdoor Classic.
You're gonna go to Lewisburg?
I'm
All right,
gonna go
we'll
to
support
Lewisburg.
them. Well, if
I'm
you don't want to carpool with Glenn and I really advise against it, stay home and check out the Monish and Multi with the outdoor track and field program and the rest of the KU Golden Bear athletic teams. A lot of home action this week, and the weather looks great to get it in. So go out and support them. For Glenn Mann, I'm Tyler Schembauer. This is Weekend Update. Stay tuned. More BTL after this. Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Between the Lines. Once again, we'd like to thank all of our guests for helping us out this week. To stay up to date on all the latest scores and news, visit KUBears.com. Be sure to like Between the Lines on Facebook and follow at KUTV Sports on Twitter to stay up to date on all the latest scores and game broadcast information. Be sure to tune in next week as we'll be going inside the locker room with the Kutztown softball team. For Glenn Mann, I'm Tyler Trumbauer, reminding you that on Outside the Lines, you only get the scores. But on Between the Lines, we get you inside the locker room.